Okay, we're live. Go, Nomza.
I'll say give me 30 seconds.
Good
Good
afternoon, Nkosi Talk Shows family. It's Nomsa here at Nkosi Talk Shows. Find your own voice, lead from within. With me today, I have Granty and Amanda. I'm just laughing, guys, because Granty said, "Give me 30 seconds to."
Yes.
To actually before we go live, and I just pressed the button by mistake. How are you guys?
Trying to think how to explain that to my client.
As long as you go close on Grant, that's all that matters.
Uh,
Anything else, it does not
Let's
matter.
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sure the audience will understand. They didn't hear your voicemail anyway. So let's get to the topic. The topic today is 10 ways that healing your inner child can heal your relationship. Healing your inner child can profoundly impact your relationship by addressing past wounds and fostering healthier patterns of interactions. So, today we're going to share those 10 ways you can use to heal your inner child positively that influence your relationship. What do you think, guys? Grant or Amanda, who wants to go first? What do you think about the topic? By the way, this topic, guys, you cannot use it to charge your customers. Uh, Sai always say no one pays to heal their inner child. That would be insane.
I think learning to heal your inner child is really important. It helps you to like I don't think a lot of people know even what that is. Nomza, do you have know exactly what your inner child is? Because I think that that's something that really we should explain first before we go into how to heal it, because we often like hear these like catchphrases or keywords and we don't truly understand what they mean. And so like my perspective of inner child is like healing that like little child within yourself who keeps you stuck in patterns that are maybe not helping you get to where you want to go, or they're like your patterns of this is why I react this way in this situation, and they don't understand that until they begin to do inner child work. And inner child work you generally do with a psychologist or a counselor or somebody who, or even like through hypnosis sometimes, through meditation. There's some different like tools that can be used, but it really is about learning to heal from traumas from when you were a child so that you can then let go of those traumas and then learn how to like reparent yourself into being a better version of yourself today so that those inner child wounds aren't holding you back and keeping you stuck and causing you to continue the same habitual patterns that you have since childhood that were a coping mechanism while you were in childhood. Grant, while you were gone, we were just talking about like what actually an inner child is, and I was just explaining a little bit about my perspective of that keyword and what it means. And it's about like healing that younger child within yourself, learning to reparent yourself, and learning about how the your reactions from when you were a child still bubble up in your adult life, and learning how to deal with those can help heal your inner child once you've healed them. And hypnosis is one way that people also can heal their inner child, which is I know something that you do. So
Absolutely.
I'm wondering what your perspective on this word is, because I know it can probably mean some different things to different people. And just to clarify a little bit about what we're talking about.
Thank you, Matt. Yeah, absolutely. Inner child is a huge thing. Our childhood memories have a huge effect. And in my work as a coach, as a hypnotherapist, it comes up all the time, all the time. I mean, it's just like there's not a day that goes by where the inner child, they may or may not refer to it as that inner child, it's a label we've given it, but it's what it is. It's what's happened in the past to them. It's the past replaying in the present day and affecting the way they go about things, their confidence, their alignment with everything that they do in life, who they see themselves as in a relationship, in work, in play, in their family. in the context of their self-esteem is hugely affected. I watched a movie the other day about this, how you deal with this trauma, self-esteem in a child, who you see yourself as. And this was with an actress. So I was, if you're anything like me, you watch something, you hear something, you get a memory. And I remembered a film when I was a kid. There was a film that me and one of my sisters used to watch. And it was an old film, even when we were kids. It was an old film then. So I thought of the actor. So I Googled the actor. He's still alive. I went onto YouTube. He did an interview. And of course, the actor played in this part with an actress. Is she still alive? Yes, she's still alive. And she did an interview recently. And it revealed that when she was young, she had a very bad life growing up. She had a bad life. The father was an alcoholic, became abusive. She had low self-esteem. So that was the footprint she carried into her adult life. But she found an outlet. And I'll come to it a little bit later. But she found an outlet how to reinvent herself, reparent herself, as you were saying, Amanda, to reparent herself. And this is what she did. And this was just like 2 nights ago. I was looking at that. But every day in my work as a coach and as a therapist, mental health coach, business coach, yeah, it affects business very much. And as a hypnotherapist, people come with what they're describing is what we would call their inner child. And it is a great, great way. Hypnotherapy is something which obviously I love, and it helps so many people around the world. I'll be speaking at the Irish Hypnotherapy Conference this weekend. So I'll be going over there. But inner child will be a subject that will come up because it affects people, and hypnotherapy can very, very quickly regress you back to the time. It can take you in your mind back to the time where this first happened. Quite often, if I was to ask you now, someone, hey, what was your inner child experience? When was the first time? You may not remember. But once you're under hypnosis, then you can remember. Then you can highlight it. You can go to a time before it happened. You can, skilled hypnotherapists can guide you through undoing that so that you can repair the past so that you have a fantastic future. So I'm a great believer in that. Outside of this, mindfulness, meditation can be a great way to get in touch with who you are in the present moment, to separate. But quite simply, how we often say, the past should not equal the future. But that's the beginning, and that's my opening line around healing your inner child. Back to you guys.
Yeah, I agree with you, Grant and Amanda, because when you have to go through healing your inner child, it means you have to go to that memory, the psyche of your memory, where it stores everything. That's why you find people who have gone through the abuse, they have to go, when you go through the healing, you have to go through that memory step by step. Whatever the memory you have gone through, or if you have gone through trauma, you have to go through every trauma, canceling that event in your memory, because if that memory stays there, it can affect your adulthood. If it's the memory that affected you when you were growing up as a child, but if it's a memory of beautiful memories, that is fine. When I was going through Satan, I realized that actually Lucifer was using my memory against me, everything that I had gone through, my parents going through the divorce and everything. So he was going to actually access that and actually playing it back like as a like as a voicemail, like when you listen the video to say your condemnation is based on this. But some people don't know that plays a really, really big part. And it can cause depression subconsciously if you don't know that is there. There's some people, they go through disappointment when they're children, but because that memory is stuck in there and it's not dealt with, so you need to go in and just deal with it, whatever is dealt with, so that you can live a free life. And also, and just heal yourself properly. is where also where your playfulness is stored. Your playfulness is there when you're a child. That's why some people they say, "Oh, bring back your inner child." Your playfulness is there, your your thoughts, your behavior, and that is the authentic things that are stored there. And then but if it was bad, your childhood was bad, that means it can actually, when you are in your adulthood, it can it can trigger traumas, keep going and keep going. So those are the things. That's why we say heal your inner child. But Sai says never as a coach say to your client, I'm gonna charge you like £5,000 to heal your inner child. He's like, are you kidding me? You got to he says you got to do it in other ways because you can't it's just, but inner child is it plays a big part in somebody's life, because for me personally, when I healed my inner child is when I was able to move forward with my life. Otherwise, I agree with Amanda when it says when you repair it, you become a better person for tomorrow. So yeah.
See, I'm not repairing. I like to fix things completely. So if you can eradicate, and this is why I think the whole idea is to look at various methods of dealing with it, because there's different ways of dealing with things. As always, there's more than one way. I'm not a lover of repairing, because if you repair, it presupposes the thing's broken. Okay, it supposes it's broken. Why not just replace it? Those memories you had, why not just replace them with better memories? Because here's the point. When we look back at our lives, the human brain has incredibly poor memory. We can sit there and learn a textbook and repeat it. But when I ask you about, for example, your school days, you will tell me these stories, right, of what happened at school. You will tell me, so I'm adjusting my camera, tell me your stories of school. Your stories as you remember them. Now, last night I was driving home and there was a song on the radio, which I liked the style of the song, not particularly the lyrics, but I wanted to understand the structure of that song. I was coming home and I had to go live not long after I got in, about 15 minutes after I got in. So I didn't have time to research the song. But I thought, I'll remember the lyrics, and I'll Google the lyrics and I'll find the song and I'll research it. Only this morning did I remember anything about that. I forgot all about it after I did that show last night and everything. And that made me realize this is most of our lives. We forget most of it. We remember certain things we really wish we hadn't remembered, such as trauma, certain things about having a child as not serving us well. But a lot of things we forget. Your school days, you'll remember the best days and the worst days. You won't remember the ordinary days where you just walked to school, had a school dinner, or came home for lunch, spoke to your friend. You don't remember that stuff. There's too many of them. Do you remember making breakfast 47 days ago? No. You don't remember, right? But you did it. You had a shower, you had breakfast. You won't remember. So it's very easy to forget things. And that's why I like hypnotherapy. A hypnotherapist will help you forget certain things and reinstall a different memory. Perhaps to realize other good things that were happening at the time that you had chosen to forget. But remember the horrible stuff. We could help you to forget the horrible stuff and remember the nice stuff. So you can actually give you, rather than fixing a bad memory, we can help you to replace that memory all in all. So that way there's no scars to heal. There's no scar any longer anyway. And that's the way I tend to look at it. Again, it's just an option. It's an option. There's various options you can choose. And that's the whole idea of the show, to give people options of how to live a greater life. And I just wanted to interject with that if I could. Amanda, what do you think?
Yeah, I like what you're talking about like replacing that with like I can replace it with something that's better, that's a positive memory, that's going to like shift my perspective on things. And that's actually one of the tools that I've used in my life, and actually have had experiences with at two different retreats where people were asked to write their story out. And first you just, there was no like instructions, just like write your life story and then tell it to another person. And the first time I did it, like I wrote out like, and then you listen to it and you like feel so sorry for the people. And then the person tells you, okay, you're going to tear that one up, like burn it, and then rewrite your story, but from a positive perspective. And like all of the great things you learned from what you've been through. And it's really like your story becomes your life, right? And so what you choose to tell yourself, and you choose to, the perspective you choose to pick, affects how you show up in the world. And so when we can change our perspective, and I always turn this back to like, what can I learn from this situation, or how can I grow? And I was listening to a podcast last night while I was driving, and it's the Miracle Morning podcast by Hal Elrod. And he was talking about how he views like his car accident, the car accident that like basically almost paralyzed him, as like a really great event in his life, because it allowed him to overcome a like huge struggle where the doctors told him he wasn't going to be able to walk again, and he was actually able to like learn how to walk again and do like all of these amazing things, because he had been through that trauma. And he looks at like his struggles as like a really great opportunity to learn. And he looks at how the financial crash in 2008 like basically like destroyed him, and then how actually that struggle actually has made him a better person today. And he talks about how all of the struggles that he's had, you could have like chose to like stay stuck in that struggle and be completely depressed and allow that struggle to define you, or you can allow that struggle to empower you and really allow yourself to be like, I'm going to overcome this. And then when you look back after you have overcome it, you're like, wow, like you're so proud of yourself for what you've overcome. And it made me think of myself with like my divorce, when people are like, oh, I'm sorry that you're divorced. I'm like, I'm not. It was the best decision I've ever made. It made me a stronger person. It made me a better mom. It made me more independent. It made me be a better teacher. It made like it allowed me to write a book. It allowed me to do all of these different things that I would have never been able to do had I stayed in that marriage, or I not been strong enough to leave an unhealthy marriage. And I don't promote like divorce at all. I think you should do everything that you possibly can to like build and make your marriage work. But I also think that there are situations that are just not healthy at all. And in those situations, after you've tried every outlet you can, it's time to like cut those ties and move on. But I view that not as like a horrible event in my life. I view it as something that I like really, really grateful for. I'm really, really grateful that I had the power to overcome that. And when we change the story that we tell ourselves, our lives begin to change. And that's inner child story can begin to change as well. And that in any event that I've gone to that has inner child work on retelling your story, it's really interesting how people's perspectives and just like the energy in the room feels lighter once they retell their story from that positive perspective. And it's interesting when you hear people's stories from the two different perspectives, how you're like either feeling enlightened by them and like, wow, you overcame so much, or like, oh man, I feel so sorry for you, like you really struggled in life. And yet it's the same person. And it's the same story, just written from a different perspective, which is so like very, very powerful, I think.
Yeah, I love that, Amanda, when you say the guy he had to allow himself to, he did not allow the problems that he was going through to define him, and he actually allowed himself to find a solution in order for him to find that healing, that breakthrough. I always say, like here at Ngozi Talk Show, that everything that we do is in the mind. Our mind, we decide, if we decide to take whatever action that we want to take, whether the struggles come in that process, we will always get to where we need to be, as long as we are willing to actually put strength and be courageous and get to where we need to be. And also, I like it when Grant, you said, what happens is if you have um, like a memory that you don't want, you can simply replace it better. Um, I love that. I love that. I think that's really, really powerful to be able to replace it with something that you feel that is valued in your life, that you feel that it can help you to move forward with your life and connect with your inner child. And if you are aware of those experiences that shape your behavior and reaction in any relationship, you'll be able to, when you have these trauma memories, you'll be able to replace it. Like this guy was told that he cannot walk again, but because he decided that, okay, these negative voices, I'm going to replace it with the voices that plays in my head. So his voices was, I can do this, I can find healing, I can walk again. So he decided to play his own music, in his own path, and dance his own song, his own rhythm of life. So yeah, that's really, really powerful. If anyone is watching, guys, if you have gone through the challenges in life, try to replace those bad memories with the good ones,
Yeah.
like Grant suggested.
We can, and we can help you with that, because it is important. A lot of people go through life living less than their best life, and I think that is terrible, because this life is very, very precious, and I think we almost have a responsibility to live it to our very, very best. And I do remember one of the pivotal moments of my life. I was at a personal development event years ago, and I'll cut the story very, very short for the purpose of the show. But we was doing a certain exercise, a very hectic exercise, but it's designed to press your buttons, okay, and get things done. And we went along, we did all of this, and we did these things, and we had to role play and do certain things, and we had to ask for funding, right, in this thing. And you have to, it's very good. It was a great, and I always thank the teacher for this. And I had to go up and say, oh, yes, we need funding for this. It was all, we had to pretend, because we want to do this in business and get the funding. And he gave me the pretend funding. And I walked away, and he said to me, Grant, he said, is that all you wanted? And I said, yeah. He said, you just wanted that amount of money for funding, yeah? So he said, you didn't want any more. I said, well, how do you mean? He said, because there's lots more available. And I said, oh, I'll have more. He said, too late. Bank is closed. And I went, he said, too late. Bank is closed. If you wanted more, you should have asked for it. And I walked away. And as I walked away, he said, Grant, I said, yes, one more thing. I said, where else in your life are you not playing full out? And I went, and he saw, it had a physical effect on me. He said, what just happened? I said, I felt like I've been kicked in the stomach. He said, does that mean something to you? I said, yeah. And it was very crowded, people running everywhere. And I just remember people whizzing, and I just looked at him for about 30 seconds, and I just said, thank you. Thank you. He said, food for thought? I said, definitely. And that changed me. And this is my point. Ask yourself that question. Because if you're not, you damn well should be living life full out. Live life on purpose. And if something, someone, or it, that thing, I can't say it here because there's a very funny expression involving swear words, but clearly articulates the point. If there's something in the past that's messing you up, please seek a way to get it unmessed up so that you can live your best life on purpose and jump out of bed with joy every day, loving it, because you'll thank yourself for doing it. You'll help yourself, your family, your loved ones, your community. Don't waste a day. do whatever it takes, get it fixed. We've given you a range of solutions and we can help you. So if that remotely means anything to you, please reach out so that we can help you live your best life. And I just wanted to say that. So
I really like that about like jumping out of bed and being excited about the day, and like that's something that I'm not good at. I'm the person that has like 5 alarms and like oh, but like really, but I've gotten better, and it's one of the things is that I read the book The Miracle Morning, which is why I was listening to Hal Elrod's podcast, because it's about miracle mornings and like feeling good about getting out of bed. And I've like modified it a lot where instead of like hopping out of bed right away, I'm like, I have a very slow start to my day, but my alarm goes off at 5:30 and I'm allowed to like either fall back to sleep or like meditate on purpose in bed. And then at 6, which like it's 6 a.m. here, but like normally on my other days of the week, then I like wake up and I turn on the light and I read for 10 minutes, and then an alarm goes off again and I hit snooze, and then I like journal for 10 minutes and then I hit snooze again, and then I'm like, okay, I got to get out of bed and like do my little 20-minute workout, and I like hit snooze again and like read a little bit more because I don't want to get out of bed. And then I'm like finally get out and I'm like, okay. And then I exercise for like 20 minutes and then I'm like, okay, ready for the day. But then by 7, I like get ready and leave the house by 8 a.m. Just that like getting out of bed part. And I like it's like it's a struggle for me personally. So I've modified it where because there's like in the Miracle Morning, there's like the savers. So it's like 7 things that you're supposed to, or 6 things or 7 things that you're supposed to do every day that like the most successful people in the world that do every day. And one of them is like silence, affirmations, SAV, I forget, visualization, E is exercise, one is scribing, and one is reading as well. So I can't remember what the correct order or anything. But you're supposed to do those things every day. And so I'm like, okay, I can do like these ones while I'm still in bed.
You made me laugh. And I've got to say, I'm with you because I suppose I should have said leaping out of bed in the morning. As close as leaping out of the bed is for you, because I've got to be honest, for full disclosure, I am not a morning person. So I do not wake up and go, hey, let's do it. I'm a little bit like you. I have a routine which takes a while. And I was on a retreat recently. And of course, the first part of the retreat, we wake up in the morning. We don't speak to each other. We journal. And I'm like, I'm cool with that because I don't want to speak to anyone first thing in the morning. And I'm just like, I'm very monosyllabic. I'm like, how are you? I'm like that for a while until I warm up. So I know how to get the best out of my body and my mind. There is the morning routine, which a bit like you, I associate it to a tortoise coming out of hibernation. It's a bit more like that. But certainly when I have things set up in my life, at least I wake up and I'm like optimistic. I may not be energetic, but I'm at least optimistic. That is my version of waking up, jumping out of bed. So yeah, some people do. My uncle, I remember being a child going on holidays, and my uncle was not my father's brother; it was my mother's brother. So different genes. So my father, a little bit like me, very hard working, but wake up a little bit more slowly, a bit more peacefully, a bit more gracefully. But was like a dynamo once he got going. My uncle would wake up like this. Wonderful. Oh, I'll tell you what, I was thinking about this, and he get straight into it like it. Father would be like, I'm a little bit like that. I'm a slower starter, but like a steam train once I get going. And that's how I get the best. So however you get the best out of yourself to make the nearest you can to your version of jumping out of bed, because we all have bad days, we all have good days. So be like it on a better time. But
Yeah, it's about learning those routines that work for you, right? And like one of them is me learning how to like get like before reading the Miracle Morning and stuff, I wouldn't even like get out of bed till like 7 and like just be like even like 7:30 and I'd get ready in like 30 minutes and be out the door by 8 a.m. So, like waking up at 5:30 and then like having like a slow start, but it still like gives me that time to journal and that time to focus on gratitude, because I created a journal on Amazon and I called it like Goals and Gratitude Habits. And it's so that I wanted it for things that I wanted to journal every single day. So I just like created it and then put it on Amazon. And now I have like, I write in the morning and then I write in the evening. And that's like, I focus on the gratitude each and every day and something that I learned. And then also my goals for the day. And I write down 3 things that I'd like to accomplish each and every day. And so like that just like sets my day up, right? I know what I need to do. Like you said, Grant, the other day that you like went in and then you completely forgot about something and then right? And so like, if I write them down, then I don't forget what it is that I wanted to accomplish. And so I can always go back to my journal and be like, what was it that I wanted to do today? Oh yeah, that's it. And then at each week I set goals for the week. Like, what are the 7 things I want to accomplish this week and be completely done with? And then I go on from there and I can keep going back to it. And so this is like really building a positive routine. And one of the things that I've been learning about and reading about too is like our consistency is the most important thing, and our resiliency. And when we are consistent, that's when we are really going to see big growth. Because if you think about it, if you went to the gym once and like worked out all day, it's not going to make a difference. It only makes a difference when you consistently go to the gym on a regular basis for an extended period of time, and
Yeah.
you are very, very committed to that consistency. And so one of my goals this year was to be very, very consistent. So for now, like 99 days, I think it is today, I've written a gratitude like thing in the morning and at night every single day, and written down my goals every single day for 99 or 98 days in a row now since the beginning of January. And I'm like really focused on consistency. And the other thing, I had 2 other goals. One was to write a blog entry each week and to post like one thing on social media that's like a video that I make each and every week. And that's really about like that consistency, right? And so if you're trying to break patterns from childhood, one of them might be, am I consistent at what my goals are? Am I consistent in any area of my life? And if so, what is that consistency looking like? Right? And so like really like take some time to sit with that. What is my like things that I'm doing every single day that are my patterns that are like consistently showing up? And if I want to change that, I need to change my consistency. And so how am I going to change that? And so my way of changing it is making sure I set my alarm early. I turn on my light at a certain time so that I can like slap myself awake and be grateful in the morning and focus on that. And then that increases my empathy and my self-awareness, and it allows me to emotionally regulate before I even get out of bed. When I journal things, it helps improve my communication, right? I meditate, and I'm trying to meditate like consistently each and every day. That one I need to get a little bit better at, because that was one of my goals for this month. But that's something like, what is it that's your goals and how are you holding yourself accountable for them? Well, those things are going to help heal your inner child when you really start to dig deep on what is it that are my patterns and habits and the things I'm consistently doing, and how am I going to change them to create the life that I truly, truly want, and how I want to show up in this world.
Well, that's good. Oh, are you?
But Amanda, does anyone who gets excited, Grant, jumping out of bed like, yeah?
People do. People do. Yeah.
I used to sleep 8 hours until I had my father-in-law saying that's lazy. 8 hours sleep for a human being is lazy. Stop being lazy. So I now sleep 4 hours. I cut it down. I'm so happy sleeping those 4 hours. I think I've been doing it for 3 months now. It's really good. And so when I get up in the morning, I just go through my prayer and planning the day. If I can feel like it depends, if I feel like there's something like a dark energy, I just have to just pray make sure that I cleanse my day and how my day, but it never goes according to what I ask anyway. My day just, it goes somewhere else. Whatever I plan, it never goes according to plan. So I plan my day and pray and get up in the morning, get the kids to school, and just go to work. And but there's something that I realized, Grant, since I've decided to do my 1000 fast, something really amazing happened. I shared it yesterday. I had this big bill, and I kept looking at it, and I was like, I need to pay this bill. I don't want to really to use my money to pay. I kept looking at it. But then I had this voice. I was about to send them a message to say I've changed my mind about this bill. Because when I'm praying, I'm not praying for me. I've decided to God that I'm not gonna, I'm just putting myself as a sacrifice, as sacrificing for other people, praying for them, their health and stuff. It's not all about me as the decision that I made. So I was like, as I was about to type the email, I this email for a week, kept looking at it every single day, and I come out of it. Then I went in, I was like, wanted to type to say I changed my mind. I'm not gonna take this. And this voice, the Holy Spirit, said, no, don't do it. So then I left it like that. And then yesterday, no, on Monday, and then they sent me an email and say, oh, Nomsa, by the way, we've decided to give you this to clear this bill for you on your behalf. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, oh, that's fine. And then the other thing is normally when I'm, because my daughter's fees is really big, normally when we have to pay the fees, I have to, when I'm speaking to my ex, sometimes he has to mourn, he has to do this. Yesterday, I spoke to him about the bill. I was like, we have to pay this bill, but can you let me know how you want to go about it? And he didn't mourn or anything. He just went, okay, I went to the bank. I was like, the bill is paid. I was like, that's really weird. That's really so weird. But I was just thinking the energy that I'm in. I was like, so thank you, God, for doing this. But then I've realized that actually, like when we say healing, whatever is going on, because I'm going through healing. It's like I've gone through my inner child back again and started from the beginning and just healing everything. And then now I've gone through my childhood, healing everything that happened in my childhood through that. And then now and then I've gone through healing my bloodline, cleansing my bloodline. And I find I'm just enjoying it. It's working, Grant.
Good.
It's like you're manifesting, but you're manifesting in this place where it's so quiet, you have no expectations, and things are being done for you. It's so amazing. If anyone is watching, guys, just try it. If there's any Christians out there and you want to heal yourself and you just want to get out there and have a life. And I was like, I said to myself yesterday, I like this life of healing because it's actually working. And I was like, why did I complicate my life before, worrying about things? So it's just so amazing. Now when I get up in the morning, but I can't celebrate grind and say,
No jump out of bed, no?
no, it's never gonna happen. I have to be like Amanda. I have to
jump out of bed.
I check that clock there, and then I check that clock, and then I check it again. I'm like, oh, it's time to get up.
We're going to rephrase that part. Rather than jump out of bed, we're going to say crawl out of bed enthusiastically.
Definitely crawl. Definitely crawl.
Slide off the
It's like the sloth.
Like the evolution of man, that diagram, and it was like that, and then eventually stood up. But yeah, really good point. So, how about increasing your self-worth? ways you can increase your self-worth. A quick tip I'll give people for increasing your self-worth is to, as I say, we forget most things in our life, and we get caught up with the drudgery of like, watch out for your language. Oh, I've got to go to work. I've got to do this. And I know, by the way, people out there, when we're saying jump out of bed, you're saying you would not be jumping out of bed if you've got young kids and you've been up all night. I know what you're saying. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking, and it's a fair comment. So crawl out of bed enthusiastic. So, but how can you increase your self-worth? It's to become aware. To become aware of the things you've done. If I ask you now, not if you're driving, but if you're not driving, if it's safe for you to do so, or at least mentally, make a list of 10 achievements you've had in your life. And I'm not dictating what an achievement is. Whether that means making a great income, acing an exam, or whether it means being happy. That's an achievement. You achieve to be happy. Having a great relationship, doing something for poor people. I don't know. Whatever you deem as a success is success. It's not for anyone else to dictate what that is. What are 10 successes you've had in your life? If you think of them, you realize you're actually doing a lot better than you think. You just don't focus on those things. You focus on the things that are going wrong. Focus on the things that are going right for a change. What have you done? You've had a great achievement. You had a child. I know a lot of you say had child. Childbirth was the most amazing things in life. That's a success. You've done it. Just list those things. This will start to help to turn the tide of your self-esteem. That's a very quick tip I can give you on self-esteem. Meditation, hypnotherapy. List 10 things successes you've had in your life. These things. Gratitude process. Write down what you're grateful for. Forget what you're not grateful for. What are you grateful for? I'm really quite grateful. That's a nice cup of tea. Really was nice. Really grateful for that. It was nice. You could be in a position in life where you don't have access to that. It's simple pleasure, but it's a nice thing. Whatever you're grateful for, when you focus on it, your mind tends to look for more opportunities like it. So list what you're grateful for and look out, because you might start getting more of it. Quick tips. Amanda?
Yeah, I love what you said about like be grateful for, and also shift your perspective to like, I have to go to work, to like, I get to go to work. And I know like even right now in Canada where I live, it's still like snowing sometimes. And I'm like, oh, as long as I don't have to shovel my driveway, I just don't want to shovel my driveway. But I'm like, I have a driveway. I need to be grateful for the fact that I have a driveway and I own my home and I have a garage that I get to park in, and I don't have to have a like freezing cold vehicle that I get into. But like, I keep being like, just don't snow enough that I have to shovel the driveway. That's all I'm hoping for at this point in the year. But it's funny, like just changing that perspective. And every time I catch myself saying, I just don't want to shovel the driveway, I catch myself saying, like, be grateful for the fact that you do have a driveway. And when I'm shoveling the driveway, I'm like, just be grateful for the fact that you have a driveway to shovel. And it keeps that was popping into my head because we just keep getting snow. Like it's like all dry and warm and like plus 17 and then minus 10. So just be grateful for like those warm days. And then I was laughing to myself too. I'm like, it's so funny how in like the fall, we're like, oh, yay, this first snowfall is so beautiful. And now I'm just like, oh, when will the snow stop? But it's that perspective, right? When it's like something fresh and it hasn't been here for a while, you're like, yes, it just snowed. And for me, I'm like, oh, just snow in the mountains, snow in the mountains. But that gratitude is really important. And I just wanted to show you, like, I created this book the other day because there was one book that I did use that was similar to help me like write gratitude every morning and every night. And then I changed it because I was like, I don't like these parts of it. But I basically write down 3 goals for the day and then 3 things I'm grateful for in the morning. And then I send positivity ahead to whatever it is in my day and I write it down. And then when the day ends, there's moments of gratitude, 3 things, and then a lesson from the day, and then who I'm most grateful for for that day, and that like sets me up to like sleep peacefully, right? When we can reset our mindset in the morning for gratitude, in the evening for gratitude, it really begins to change how you like show up in life. And I think that's really, really important. And there's a whole bunch of research on how gratitude and being grateful for things can really, really impact our life and rewire our brains, and then cause so many, like a domino effect of healing in our lives.
That's good.
Power of gratitude. The power of gratitude is amazing, guys. It's really, really amazing. When you are grateful in this house, they always say, how are you so grateful in the really tiny things? I'm like, in order for me to get to the bigger things that I want, I'll have to be grateful for these really tiny, tiny things. Because if I want big, I have to start small. But if I don't appreciate that small, how can I open the doors of the bigger ones? So it's very, very important. Gratitude, I think, for me, very young age, that's what my parents taught me, and it's taken me to places when everybody else mourns me. I go quiet and I just think about the things that I have had in my life, in the path that I've gone through, and I just become so grateful. And it does help. So, and also, like, I know we're talking about healing your inner child in a relationship. When you're healing your inner child, you don't have to look at the things that have gone wrong in your childhood. I'm sure there are good stuff that have gone through. For me, basically, when I was healing my inner child, when I finished, I was like, all these things that I'm healing myself is the things that I don't even remember, is the things that I was told, like my mom's divorce. It was affecting me. I was like, why is he affecting me? I don't even know when they were divorcing, I was young, but then I had to realize actually my umbilical cord is connected to my mom. So that means my mom's feelings, whatever she felt, I can feel it myself. So I got to feel it as a child, and that is not broken. So I had to break that cord of the feelings, and I had to cancel it, and I had to ask for God to restore my original, because at that moment I was living the life, the story that my mother went through. So I just had to reclaim my original. And guys, the other thing, if you've never done the reclaiming your original healing, is so amazing. The original you, it means, like the stress that takes over life. We go through like everyday life. The stress actually can hinder our intelligence. It can hinder everything that we are capable of. But when you reclaim your original life, it means you call yourself out like Grant Morrell, come out where you're hiding. Your true emotions, you call yourself out and you say, come out, or anyone that who is responsible for me feeling this way. Or sometimes there were emotions where somebody wronged you, but when you were reacted to that moment, you reacted really affected you, and then the part of you go start somewhere. But then when you call yourself out, it's like there's a cord that is being pulled. And it's like you're being pulled in some portal or something. It's like, it's so amazing. I'm doing some good stuff, guys. I'm just going through the healing. But I can say the only thing I can say is the healing is really amazing. But it is that journey where, because sometimes you can be confronted by dark angels where they say, who do you think you are, calling yourself out? And they can start fighting you. And that's where the mind comes in, where you get angry, like you have to, with your emotions, you have to get angry to say, I want my original me, and you're not going to stop me to get my original. And you got to feel it in your belly button, because that's where the connection with your parents is. You got to feel that. And once you feel that, they let you go. and then you become who you are meant to become. But that is when you want to be genius, like these guys who build Facebook and stuff. You can do that. You're on a business, you want to be original, you want to stand out like Tony Robbins. You see, I've seen his trick, what he did. Tony Robbins does not use PowerPoints, he just used his memory. He uses his head. That means he had to go through healing to make sure that and his coach used the Bible, and that's what I'm doing myself. And it was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. That's when I realized actually he did what I'm doing. I was like the bugger. I would have been going to his event and thinking I wanna be like him, but you don't know what people do behind the scenes to actually they do the hard work.
Yeah.
So nothing comes easy. You got to work really hard to find that healing your inner child. I don't know, Grant, what advice can you're a speaker as well, you speak around the world. Do you use lots of PowerPoint when you speak?
No, no.
So how are you able to do that? You see, you see, you are one of them who hide secrets.
What I do have, and you probably find a lot of people, they have cues. So there may be, I'm not a lover of PowerPoint or Keynote anyway, but occasionally you have it. But what a lot of people do, they make mistakes by having it there the whole time. The focus should be on you. You are a speaker, you are the focal point. It should be coming from you. Now, you can use, let's call it PowerPoint slides to support what you're doing. And Tony Robbins certainly does that. You can support you, but it shouldn't be up on the screen.
And then to be able to hold the information, what did you do? What made you so different? That's the secret that I need.
All right. So in essence, there's all skills around it. And it's, again, something which I've learned, and I've spent a lot of money learning this. But in essence, one of the simple points is, yes, you should have key points on the screen to support you. But this is why I don't have scripts. Because scripts means you've got to learn it. I'm not an actor. This is real. I'm not making a pre-supposed script. This is real. So instead, you'll have key points. So I will have a music stand. So if you look at the slides, I will have a very condensed version of the slide on a music stand. Now, you can have it on an iPad, something there. So that I'll talk about and I'll look at it, and it may have, for example, what may I have? Self-concept. And I like, okay. So, and I know how long it takes me to speak on self-concept. I've mapped out, and I'll be doing it now for this conference at the weekend. I'll be revising it and looking at how much time I've got, key points, what my desired outcome is, all the questions that I'll speak to you guys behind the scenes about when we do our events, when we do our training, when we do our retreats for our clients from the show. We talk about how long it's going to be. What do we want to come in with? What do people come in with? What do they need to know? How will we teach it? What's the desired outcome? How long have we got to do it? All of these things are factored in. So let's say I'm talking like a simple version of speaking for an hour. Let's say I'll say, okay, I want to make these 4 points within an hour. That means I'll be speaking for an introduction and an end and 4 points. So that's 6 sections. I'll divide the hour up into 6 sections and say I need to speak for 7 minutes on that, whatever. So I'll have my little square with the slide showing the time, and I will look at it, and I've got a timer there, so I know how long. And I'll be looking at it, and I'll think, okay, self-concept. I've got 7 minutes to speak about self-concept. So it will look like this. I'll walk along, I'll go, and the next thing I want to talk to you about is self-concept. And there's 3 elements to it. How many? 3 elements of self-concept. And that's when I'll list them, and I'll spend a couple of minutes on each one. And then I move on. And that's how I do it. You chunk it down to bite-sized chunk. How do you eat an elephant? 1 mouthful at a time. So you just take it and you chunk it down. It avoids overwhelm. It gives you control, ease. I don't have to stick to a script because I know my material. I know what I'm going to say about self-concept. It comes from 3 key areas. And I could do it right now. And that's what I do for every slide. So I may see the slide, but the audience doesn't need to, because I want them looking at me, because I will use certain gestures and things which emphasizes a point. I will use tone of voice. to emphasize certain things. There's all different things you use in speaker skills to convey the message so that the audience can remember it, implement it, and get the result. That's it in essence. Say something.
I love it. I think that's a really great way to just like chunk it down. But I also I love our conversation today, and I love our conversation about admitting that we are all like sloths energetically getting out of bed. Enthusiastically, I think you said.
How about enthusiastically?
I love how our conversation is just like naturally woven into all of these different areas. I really think healing our inner child is about like learning to laugh about those things too, laughing about, even though I'm trying really hard to jump out of bed and be excited. I recognize that, okay, my strategy might have to be a little bit different of being the like enthusiastic sloth. But I really loved our conversation today, and I really think that there are so many ways that we can heal our inner child, and it's going to be different for each and every one of us how we approach that. And it, like Grant said, even about speaking, healing your inner child is just going to be like one bite at a time, right? Just as how you approach everything is like just taking one step at a time, one little piece at a time, and eventually you'll look back and be amazed at how far you've come in your healing journey. So that's what I have to say today before I go, because I have to get to work. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Guys, if you want to connect with Amanda, where can they find you, Amanda? Before you go?
Everything on social media, and everything's art, mindfulness, and creativity.
She's everywhere. She writes blogs as well. You can check her blogs out as well.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Amanda. For me, I've enjoyed the conversations, and jumping out of bed, Grant, I can do anything, but I don't think I will ever celebrate getting, I'll be grateful I can admit that. But even though I'm enjoying my 4 hour sleep, I'm like, when I'm looking at the clock, I'm like, yeah, is it time to go back to wake up? And sometimes I'm thinking maybe I'm looking at the clock with the wrong time, or I've set the clock wrong. I'm like, it's getting up in the morning. Like yesterday, I got up at 4, and Martina goes, do you really have to get up at 4 and wake me up? I was like, no, I don't, but I have to practice mindset. I've got to get up and do some stuff. So guys, going through healing, if you're somebody who is watching Gossip Talk shows, guys, healing is amazing. And I'm doing my 1,000 day fasting, guys. I'm on 100 and something. I'm enjoying it. And if anyone wants to join me, please do join. It's amazing. The healing is amazing. You don't have time to get upset or to do anything. When things go wrong, you're like, okay, it's one of those, and God will take care of it. Or the universe will take good care of it, whatever your beliefs that might be. It is amazing. But like I said, when you go through deep healing, that means you're triggering other realms that don't want to be triggered. They want to keep you safe. So I've had loads of attacks because I'm reclaiming my identity in my childhood and my adulthood, and it is working, and there's a price for it, but I'm willing to pay that price. So God bless you, everyone. And if you want to connect with us, please do go to our website and connect with us. And God bless. And if you need coaching, go to the website. And if you want to find love, please do go to the website as well. And God bless. See you tomorrow. I think tomorrow I'm on my own.